Hey everyone, it's Narissa Nicole and welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to share with you 3 super simple and super easy box cake mix breakfast recipes. If you're anything like me, you have a ton of box cake mixes on your pantry shelf because they are super affordable and they can really come in handy when you are in a pinch for time. Today's recipes are, like I said, for breakfast, and they are extremely versatile, so you can mix and match the box cake mix flavors with the other ingredients to suit your tastes. As always, all of the recipes and the ingredients will be linked down below in the description box. So I'm super excited to share these recipes with you. So let's jump right in.
Alright, so first up for breakfast is raspberry almond scones. These are so delicious and not like your ordinary dry scones. Then we have 2 ingredient muffins. I chose blueberry for this go around. And then finally, definitely stick around for this one. Oh my goodness, butter pecan cinnamon rolls, my absolute favorite. But first, raspberry almond scones. So this is the ingredient list right here. Very few ingredients, very easy recipe. So first, you're going to choose a cake mix. I chose vanilla for this recipe. You want to add 1 1/4 cups of your cake mix to a bowl, and also 1 1/4 cup of flour to the bowl, and give that a mix to combine the two together. The next step is to add your butter, and this is a pastry trick. So instead of cutting the butter into our flour mixture, we're just going to take a regular old cheese grater, put some of the flour mixture on to the grates, and then take a frozen stick of butter and grate it into the bowl. This is going to give you the same effect that a fancy pastry cutter would. It works just as good and it is just as easy. So I am just working the paper down the stick of butter until I get towards the end. Then I remove the paper and I very carefully grate the remainder of the butter into the mixture without causing any damage to my thumb or knuckles. Once you have all of your butter grated into the flour mixture, you can just take a fork and mix it around to coat all of your little pieces of butter with your flour mixture, and kind of break up any that have clumped together that you might find. Then using your fork, just create a little hole in your flour mixture and then add your 1 cup of milk. I'm using skim milk because that's what I have on hand. You can use anything that you have on hand. Next, you want to gently stir the mixture until it is just combined. We don't want to over stir it. That's what would cause our scones to get a little tough. At this point, I forgot to add the flavoring extract, so I went ahead and added it now, but you can add it also when you add the milk. I am adding almond extract because I am making almond raspberry scones, but you could use vanilla or any other flavor extract that you want to use. Then I am adding the remainder of the ingredients, which is 1/3 cup of slivered almonds and 1 cup of frozen raspberries. You want to gently fold those into your dough, and then we're going to dump our dough out onto a floured lined baking sheet, and the dough is going to be very sticky. That's how it's supposed to be, so you're going to want to generously dust the dough ball with flour as well as your hands, and then we're going to pat it out into a nice round flat disc. Once you have your scone dough shaped the way you like it, you can add some almonds to the top so that anyone eating the scones knows that there are almonds in the dough. And then we're going to cut them into triangles. So you want to take a nice long knife and spray it with cooking spray over your sink or over the trash can, and then cut the dough because, again, it's very, very sticky. Then pop your scones into a preheated 400-degree oven for 20 to 25 minutes, and you have the best scones you will ever taste. Next up are our 2 ingredient muffins. So the blueberries aren't included in the ingredients. The box cake mix and the vanilla yogurt are the 2 ingredients. And then you can add whatever else into these muffins that you want to. I chose adding non-fat Greek yogurt, vanilla flavor. You could add blueberry yogurt or any other flavored yogurt that you would like. You could also add coffee creamer, for example. You could add sour cream. Stir the box cake mix with your wet ingredient until it is just combined, and then you can add whatever else you would like. I chose to add some blueberries. You could add some sprinkles, some raspberries. You could add some raisins. You could add some softened apple pieces. Oh, the options are endless. So like I said, blueberry muffins are on the menu for this morning. So I stirred in 2 cups of frozen blueberries into the batter. Now I'm going to take a 12-cup muffin tin and add some silicone muffin cups to the tin. I really like these silicone muffin cups. I will link them down below. I got them off of Amazon. Not only can they be used for muffins or cupcakes, but you can also use them as little cups in lunch boxes. They have a lot of different uses, so the investment is worth it. I'm going to use my ice cream scoop. It's about a 1.5-inch ice cream scoop, and scoop in even amounts of the batter into my cupcake tin, or cupcake liners, I should say. These are going to go into a 350-degree preheated oven for about 20 or 25 minutes, depending on how thick your wet ingredient was. So you just want to watch them and definitely do your toothpick test. These muffins are so good and so easy that you will be making them all the time. And finally, my favorite, box cake mix butter pecan cinnamon rolls. So this recipe has a few more ingredients and is a little more complicated, but it is oh so worth it. So we're going to start off by adding 1 entire cake mix to a large bowl, as well as 1 cup of flour and 1 packet of active dry yeast, as well as 1 1/4 cups of warm water. That warm water is what's going to activate your yeast. Now we're going to give it a good mix to combine all of the ingredients, and then we are going to add flour until we get the dough to the consistency that we need. And what we are looking for here is the dough to pull away from the bowl. Think bread dough. So you will add between 2 and 3 cups of flour to get the dough to the right consistency. I added 3 because it was really humid at my house this day. So if you live in a more humid environment, you'll probably end up adding closer to 3. If you live in a less humid environment, you'll probably add closer to 2. You are then going to turn your dough out onto a floured surface and go ahead and knead it for 1 minute. You can also do this in a stand mixer, but I thought I would just do it by hand. Then place your dough ball into a nice clean bowl and cover it with some cooking spray or some oil to keep it moist. Cover it with a towel and put it in a warm spot and let rise for 2 hours. So this is what the dough will look like after it has risen for 2 hours. Then you are going to want to quote unquote punch it or deflate your dough, getting all of the air out of it. Then we are again going to turn it out onto a floured surface, and then we are going to roll it out. We're going to roll it out into approximately a rectangle that measures 10 by 18. If you do not have a rolling pin, do not worry. You can use anything. You can use a vase, you can use a glass, you can use some type of canned good. Obviously you want to make sure it is nice and clean, but anything really will work. Next, we are going to make our filling. Yum. So we are going to combine about 1/4 cup of butter, which is half of a stick, with half a cup of brown sugar and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Now I'm just going to mix mine all in a bowl and spread it out, but you can also do it in layers. You can spread your softened butter over your rolled out dough, then sprinkle it with the brown sugar, as well as sprinkle it with some cinnamon. But I just combined it all together and I poured it out onto the dough and then spread it into an even layer all around, making sure to get close to the edges as well. Now we are going to roll our rolls up. So you want to start at one of the short ends and roll up your dough, trying to keep it as even as possible. So I'm just taking my time, rolling it up, kind of stretching the ends if it gets a little crooked. And then when I get to the end, I am going to take a tiny little cup of water and dab my finger in it and run it along the outside edge of the dough, so that when I am finished rolling up the roll will stay rolled. Say that 5 times fast. Now we have one giant cinnamon roll, and we are going to cut them into individual rolls. So you want to cut them into 12 pieces. So I cut the log in half, then cut each half into 3 pieces, and then each of those pieces into 2 pieces, which gives you 6 on each side, or 12 rolls. Once you have your rolls cut into 12 pieces, you want to transfer them to a sprayed cooking sheet. I'm using a 9 by 13 pan. that I've sprayed with cooking spray, and I'm going to arrange them and space them evenly because the next step is to cover them again with a towel and place them in a warm spot to rise for another 1 hour. This is what they look like after they have risen another hour. They have about doubled in size. Then bake these beauties off in a preheated 350-degree oven for 15 to 20 minutes until they are just golden brown. You don't want to over bake them. You want them to be nice and soft. Another baking hack here is to use some cream cheese store-bought frosting for your cinnamon roll frosting. You can also make your own, like copycat Cinnabon frosting or whatever your favorite cinnamon roll frosting is. But this cream cheese frosting really goes well with these cinnamon rolls. So I'm adding a generous dollop to each cinnamon roll right after they have come out of the oven so that the icing melts and runs down in all the creases. And then since I'm using a butter pecan cake mix, I wanted to add some chopped pecans to the tops of my cinnamon rolls. Seriously guys, these are so good, and I'm embarrassed to say that out of 12 cinnamon rolls, I ate 7 of them. That is all for this round of boxed cake mix hacks. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment section down below which one is your favorite. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you like these types of videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!